It's time to take a look at your money. For American consumers, credit cards are much like our cell phones. We don't leave home without them. So over the past decade, our use of credit cards has soared to record levels. According to data from the U.S. Federal Reserve, Americans collectively own roughly 630 million credit cards. That's up 48% from 10 years ago. But what's behind this growing preference toward credit cards, and will it continue?
Financial advisor Mark Gravicheski joining us live to break it down for us. Good morning, Mark.
Morning, Devin. Morning, Ava. Ava, I know it's National Coffee Day. You and I are big coffee aficionados. So after this show, I say we grab our individual coffee bucket and go from one coffee shop to the next.
I think that sounds like a plan, Mark.
That's right, yes. Well, even with the growing popularity of credit cards, to what extent do Americans still use cash as a form of payment, Mark?
Over the past, kind of 10 or 15 years or so, Devin, we've seen this transformational shift in how we make our purchases. Just a few years back in 2012, cash was the clear number one choice of payment, accounting for about 40% of all consumer transactions. Credit cards at that time were a very distant third at just 7%. But today, those rankings have literally switched around. Credit cards are now the number one source of payment, accounting for 35% of all consumer transactions, while cash has fallen to just 14%. Now, the use of debit cards for the most part has it increased a little bit, but by far and away, the biggest shift has been from cash to credit.
Yeah, I completely understand that. I almost never have cash on me at this point, really.
Right.
But what are some of the reasons behind this continued surge in the use of credit cards?
Obviously, there's the element of convenience, but credit cards are very symbolic of this surge in technology over the past decade or so. Think of all the monthly subscriptions you now have. Just for me, my subscriptions to YouTube TV and Netflix all tied to my credit card. When I'm in Chicago or some large city, all of my smartphone apps for Uber or how I pay for parking, again, all tied to my credit card. There's also, this continued growth in online shopping. And how do we tend to pay when we shop online? Through our credit cards. But also consumers, often use their credit cards to find value for money, to take advantage of those, benefits and rewards tied to, airlines, hotels, and in many cases, to receive cash back on their purchases.
And as we continue to see this shift toward credit cards, what are some of the bigger concerns for consumers?
Well, when you take that cash out of your wallet or pocketbook, Devin, it almost acts as a bit of a reality check when you see that cash start to disappear. But with credit cards, spending almost becomes an automated process. And for many people, it's not until they look at their monthly statement, until they start to question their purchases. But by that time, it's too late. The money is already spent. Just looking at some of the numbers behind this growth in credit cards kind of raises some cautionary flags. As you mentioned at the top of this segment, consumers hold a record high 630 million credit cards. Last year, American consumers made 56.2 billion individual credit card transactions. That equates to 1,781 credit card transactions every second. The dollar value of those transactions was $5.51 trillion. Right now, American consumers collectively own about $1.21 trillion in credit card debt. That's up 73% from 10 years ago. The average credit card holder has almost $6,500 in credit card debt. And look, with the average interest rate on credit cards at over 24%, that's a lot of interest to be paid on those outstanding balances.
And we're getting closer to the holiday season, so there's going to be more usage, right?
Oh, well, think about this. Halloween shopping, November 1st, the start of the November-December retail holiday shopping season. So, yeah, couple of big, and Thanksgiving, couple of big shopping. So, yeah, credit cards are going to be in full swing.
That's right. All right. Thank you so much, Mark, and we'll see you next Monday.
Sounds good. See you both at the coffee shops this morning.
Sounds good, Mark. It's a deal. We'll be right back after this break.